to the Terrordome, baby. We swarm. Welcome to the Terrordome. We swarm. Let them know. We swarm, baby. We swarm, baby. All day long.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Tales from the Terrordome. It's your boy Dan. If you're watching on YouTube, as you can tell, I'm by myself. Solo mission today, baby. Solo dolo. Uh, been doing this for a long time now, 4 years. This is year four, and I've never done this, which is crazy. I've always pulled interviews, had a guest, or I've enlisted the services of Grayson, Brian, Pete, Sam Jesse, uh, Colby Crawford, David Cunningham, my boy Noah, a couple other people. Shout out Drift. Drift's been on here. Vito. Shout out Vito. And you know, yeah, man. It's been an interesting couple weeks for the Hokies and for the weather. First of all, happy Black History Month. It's important to celebrate that, especially Virginia Tech, everywhere else. Been a lot of influential uh, people come through that school and through our lives that are black, African American. Just just wanted to shout out them first and foremost because they are important pieces of the fabric of society, and it should never be forgotten, and it should only be celebrated. I just want to say that. Secondly, this weather, man, the snow, crazy. You get snowed in. You kind of want to. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit. Uh, so I'm here by myself. Tales from the Terrordome host Dan. That's me, my show. It is, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, let's get to it. I went to Blacksburg, man, before the snow. I went down for women's basketball versus Clemson, and I went down for wrestling versus Stanford, the 23rd and or the 22nd and 23rd of January. It was a good time, very successful trips, games, all that. Uh, then I got home, beat the weather, got snowed in. Schedule comes out Monday night. Nobody can move. All there is to do is talk about the schedule. So I figured it was a great time to hop on here, press record, talk about some things. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start with women's basketball because that game versus Clemson was crazy. Like, it really was. It was. I went with my boy Jay Tucker. Shout out Jay Tucker. Red Beards, Gutters. They do it all. If you're in the Blacksburg, Southwest Virginia area, even into West Virginia, holla at your boy. He'll take care of you. Uh, they do great work, man. But yeah, we went. The game started beforehand. Duffy honored Kayla King, who was a great Hokie with Liz and Georgia and that crew. And she works with Coach Poppy now at Clemson. And they gave her like a nice little honoring, like a gift before the game, which I thought was cool. Got a standing O from everyone in Castle. She is definitely loved here. But that game was crazy, man. I mean, it got to the point in the third quarter where Clemson was up by like 13, I think. And with like 2 minutes left in the third. And we were kind of thinking it might be Dunzo. But they had other plans, man. Karis Baker and Carly Wenzel both finished with 24 points. Shemaya Suffering, she added another 12. It was kind of an off game for Kyla Freelon. She got into a little foul trouble. She finished with 4 fouls, but she ended up with 8 points and 9 rebounds. She's been great for the Hokies. She and that whole team, just the resiliency on this team, man, it came into full effect and in this game because they went on a 22-9 run in the fourth, including a 10-0 run to end up taking the lead. So like it was incredible. It was 71-68 Yeah, 71-68 finish. The girls were celebrating, uh, as they should. Very hard fought victory. Uh, Needed that W to continue to surge towards tournament appearance, as we missed it last year barely. Uh, then they went down to Wake Forest, man. They went to Wake Forest following day or so, and they exercised some demons on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. I'll tell you that. Karis Baker, 20 points, 9 rebounds. Kyla Freelon, 11 points, 7 rebounds. Layla Wells, she added a nice 12. Uh, Carly Wenzel, 19 points. Handled that business 85-57. Nice and easy, nice and easy. It was great to watch, They after such an emotional win against Clemson at home, they went to Wake with the weather, handled business. They didn't slip. Perfect showing. Very, very proud of these girls, Carly and Karis stayed behind when Kenny left, and he took a lot of the girls with him to, including Georgia Amore, to Kentucky, and they hired Coach Duffy, who had to come in and really fix this thing up, and she's done a good job so far. This team is very resilient. They're tough. They're gritty. Uh, they just they 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 never give up. Shout out John Cena. They never give up. But it's just been incredible to watch, and I hope they keep building on this. They came back home, and they waxed Pitt. They went crazy on Pitt. Like, I don't even need to talk. Like, they handled that, and that's what they needed to do. And they're handling business right now, and that's all you can ask, because this team is still growing. They're young in a lot of areas. Uh, Sears was supposed to be a big part of this team, and she got hurt before the season even started. Out of high school, she was a hell of a recruit. She was. I think they were really going to count on her this year, and she just isn't available because she got injured. But I look forward to what how she finishes the season, and what this thing's going to look like moving forward. Friday night, I went to wrestling. And let me just tell you, I had all day to kill in Blacksburg. And if you're not trying to spend money, don't go to Rally House, because that place is incredible. It's like Hokie Topia, basically. Like, everything you want is there. Like, the bookstore is cool. I love Alumni Hall. I love the people at Alumni Hall. But Rally House is just wall to wall. It's like a Costco of Hokie merchandise. And I got this nice ass crew neck. If you can see this little junk right here, I like it. It spoke to me. I wasn't trying to spend any money. I was just trying to kill some time. So, but they got me. Nike got me, like always. So if you're not trying to spend money, don't go there. If you are trying to spend money, go to Rally House, because that place was, yes, it is a 10 out of 10. No notes in the damn book. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah. Went to PK's. I haven't really been drinking too much. I've really been locked in on, like, what I've been eating and putting in my body the past 4 weeks. Not because of it being a new year, new me. That whatever. I don't. Nah. Just because I feel like I started the fitness journey a long time ago. I initially dropped like 170 pounds. I plateaued. I started drinking, like doing whatever again. Got pretty loose with the diet, and I just said, enough's enough. It's time to finish the story. It's time to get my ass in gear. And so I've been really conscious about what I've been doing. There's been a lot of veggies, a lot of high protein, like clean protein, like chicken, rice, veggies, no sandwiches, no bread, nothing. Mainly water, protein shakes. But when in Rome, I went to PK's, had myself a couple drinks, got some wing bites, the sweet Thai chili, so good. Uh, and then I got some sweet potato fries with world class honey mustard, by the way. Best honey mustard in the business, in the world is at PK's. But yeah, I allowed myself to indulge a little bit. And then I went to wrestling, and Stanford was coming to town. The Hokies are the number 7 ranked team in the country, which is crazy because Caleb Henson is not playing this year, or not wrestling this year. So it was kind of like, for all intents and purposes, they were punting on the year because their best player just wasn't going to be available. But that's not the case, because this team has found ways to win these duels. They've only lost like twice on the year. Eddie Ventresca, one of the best 125-pound wrestlers in the country, number 1 in my book, but definitely top 3 objectively. Then you got outside of that, like, it was like, what's it going to look like? They're very young. Aaron Seidel is a demon. We're going to talk about him. Burned his red shirt due to injury of someone else. And by the way, has not lost in all of his matches. He has major decisioned every single one of his opponents, which is absolutely insane. Colin Guy, another young guy, he's coming on. He's done very well. We love our guy, Big Jimmy Mullen. Sonny Sasso has been fairly solid at 197. But, when Caleb Henson actively chooses to, the team and Caleb choose to, hey, we're going to redshirt you this year so we can pair you with Bo Bassett, this phenom kid coming in next year, that him and his brother Melvin, who's also committed to Virginia Tech, are going to come in, and they're already beating college kids in these tournaments, like top-ranked college kids, not just Joe Schmo. Like, they're beating ranked kids, like former champions. Like, they're beating them handily. They're like, we're going to make a run at that elusive team national championship that we've been trying to, we've been trying, because Virginia Tech, there's no national title in our trophy case. No offense to bass fishing and soil judging, like, salute, but that team national championship that everyone covets, we don't have one. We're one of 2 schools, us and Kansas State, that we don't have them. But they're trying their best. They got Melvin coming in, they got Bo coming in. Pair Bo and Caleb together, 141 and 149. Aaron Seidel at 133. Eddie Ventresca got one more year left at 125. Like, I got to make some stuff shake at other places. I got faith in the development of Big Jim at the heavyweight position, Jimmy Mullen, but it's going to be a strong contender for a national title next year. However, number 24, Stanford, has come to town last Friday, the 23rd, and it got rolling, man. Eddie V right out of the gate, 6-2 victory over Nico Provo at 125. Big win. It started out, they were rolling, and then it was close. And then Eddie pulled away at the end. Like, he had like 2 very fast takedowns towards the end of the 3rd period. Handled that. It was a strong start for the Hokies. And then redshirt freshman Dylan Campbell, he got hurt. So they burn Aaron Seidel's shirt. He's coming in, true freshman, facing number 7, Tyler Knox. And like I said, he was 11-0, all wins via bonus. And this dude just straight, I'm not going to say murdered, but he destroyed Tyler Knox. Like, unranked kid destroying Tyler Knox. It was 13-0. Yeah, 13-0 major decision. Like, it was a show that I can only compare to, like, I've only watching collegiate wrestling. I'm fairly new to the game. I've always been a big WWE guy. Everybody knows that. But, like, my collegiate journey started with, like, Mekhi Lewis and Bryce Andonian. And it's just, like, I've been hooked ever since. But, like, Seidel gives me that feeling that I got watching Mekhi Lewis and Bryce Andonian and Caleb Henson, where you just know, hey, I'm witnessing greatness right now, because this kid's going to win national championships in Blacksburg. Like, when I say he's a demon, like, I'm not even joking. Like, it's insane. And he proved that even further by beating the dude at NC State 16-0. So He went from unranked to ranked 7th in the country in a week, and I imagine he will be top 2 or 3 by the time it's all said and done in 2026. But back to the Stanford duel. We dropped a couple in the middle. Ended up being a close one going into the last one. Jimmy Mullen versus the dude from Stanford, and it was crazy, man, because the crowd was rocking, everybody was going crazy. Our big Jimmy, 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 everybody's chanting. Jimmy's number 16 in the country. He's going against Luke Duthie, and duel was on the line, man, and Jimmy just handled business straight from the get go. Pinned him in the period. First period pin to end the whole thing. We win. Sayonara. Got to get out of town. Snow's coming. But it was just a great, great punctuation on the night, man. It really was. It was a hard fought victory for a team without their best wrestler, and I was just so proud of this. Like Jimmy knew what he had to do, and he came in and he handled it. And then this past week, they go down. This past Friday, they were at NC State, and just 21-12 final. Handled our biggest ACC rival in wrestling, NC State. I hate them. They are our biggest obstacle every year, and we handled them pretty well in a duel where Caleb didn't even wrestle like we've been talking about. So, man, it was just I was so happy. Like these guys, Aaron Seidel, Colin Guy, Eddie Ventresca, Sergio, like these dudes, Jimmy, Sonny. Sonny had a hard fought. It should have been 12-10, but he won 11-10 decision that ended up sealing the deal before Jimmy. He ended up losing to the number 2 dude in the country, but like duel was wrapped up by that point. It was house money. We wanted Jimmy to win, but it is what it is. He will get his get back. I have no doubts. ACC championships are in Blacksburg this year. Make sure y'all set your calendars and bring your butts to Castle because this wrestling team deserves your support. They do all of this on their own. Basically, they're pretty self-sustained. They built their own donor base. They make their own merch. They raise their own money. And they've been the best thing cooking in Blacksburg for several years now. James Franklin is coming in to change that. Like football is about to get to it, but for now, as we say this on February 1st, 2026, wrestling is the strongest sport in Virginia Tech. That's a fact. All right, y'all. Let's get into it. The meat and potatoes of why we're here. Monday night at like 6 p.m., the Virginia Tech Hokies football 2026 schedule released. And yeah, we kick it off. Well, first of all, spring game, April 18th. Very important. James Franklin has been on this kick. Hey, yo, pack lane, pack it. I want all 65,000 plus people. Like I want them in the building. And spring game's always a movie. Like it legitimately is a great time, stress free. Hopefully we get good weather. Tailgates are great. We're probably doing a podcast panel on Chicken Hill this year. Steven's going to be cooking up great food. Nate's going to be vibing. He's going to be making drinks. The bourbon table is going to be immaculate. Like downtown's always fun. Spring game, man. It's going to be interesting too because it's going to be like the culmination of all the spring position battles for people to position themselves going into fall camp on the depth chart. And it's going to be a good time. A whole bunch of new faces. Like it's basically a brand new team. Like make sure y'all bring your asses to Blacksburg, April 18th, and have a little soiree, some Hokie communion, man. Break bread, drink whatever you drink, and let's get down on some spring scrimmage football and support these dudes. Send a message to all the recruits that are going to be in town because the Jimmies and Joes matter just as much, if not more, than the X's and O's. So we got to rock. And then we fast forward September 5th, old rivalry, the military classic of the South, I believe they used to call it. But now that is VMI and the Citadel now. But it used to be from like the late 1800s to like the early 1970s. That was VMI versus Virginia Tech. And that's because Virginia Military Institute faced off against an engineering school with a focus on ROTC. I believe Virginia Tech and A&M are the only two schools left in the country that have a strong ROTC presence. I could be wrong, but that wouldn't be the first time I've been wrong. I'll tell you that. Anyway, VMI should be an easy cake. It should be a cakewalk. No offense to them. Basically, their whole coaching staff is on our team now. They are all analysts or assistants in Blacksburg, and just looking forward to getting it right in that game. That's what you need to look for because the team is young. James Franklin optioned to basically extend this. It was an extended recruiting class is basically what he took. He took a bunch of kids with a lot of eligibility left, with a lot of high upside. And our team is through and through, depth wise, at the top end all the way to the bottom end is way better than it was before. He definitely churned the roster, but these kids are young and they're going to need room for error. So you might as well play these games that you can win without play these games you can win. And then later in the season, when you get to the tougher games, these kids will have experience. They'll be battle tested. They'll have confidence, and you'll have a better chance of winning these games versus like the Clemsons and the SMUs and the Miamis and what have you. But yes, first game of the year, at home versus VMI. Let's sell out Lane Stadium. Let's get to it. Next week, September 12th, ODU coming to Blacksburg. This game is important. And I say important because this school, ODU, has made us into a laughing stock of the state somewhat over the past couple of years, especially last year when they destroyed us. So there should be some emphasis on putting the respect back on the name of the Virginia Tech Hokies within the state and in the recruiting region. You got to handle business. You got to handle business, man, against Old Dominion. You have to. Then the next week, September 19th at Maryland. It's an away game. Current recruiting rival, old rival, period. Back to like the Phrygian days. Torrey Smith, Vernon Davis. We used to play them regularly. Still a recruiting rival. Need to beat them because of the regional ties to kids. It should be mostly Hokies at that game, I would think. I don't feel like Maryland cares about football like that. There's a lot of Hokies in the DMV. There's a lot. It's an easy flight from the Carolinas or whatever. You just fly into DCA, fly into Dulles, and get to it. Pack that stadium out in maroon and orange. And James Franklin does not like Maryland anyway because they kind of passed him over for the job. I think he took it personal. He went to Vanderbilt, and I think he's been he loves to beat Maryland. So let's beat Maryland. Then the following week, we're at Boston College. I won't be going to this game. I don't think. Hotels are crazy. I would like to because the Cubs are also in town, and the Patriots are on the Broncos schedule next year. And if they happen to line up with a triple header of a weekend, it's going to be hard for me to pass that up. But weird things always happen in Boston College. It's Bill O'Brien versus James Franklin, the two coaches that saved Penn State from death, basically. Bill came in during the sanctions, kept them afloat somewhat, and then Franklin came in and took them to levels they hadn't seen in decades. And they're going to be squaring off in a matchup in Boston, Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. Let's get to it. We have a good chance to start 4-0. Like, I'm not predicting anything because it's way too early for that, but I feel like we have a pretty good shot at starting with a favorable win-loss record. Uh, Come home Friday, October 2nd, first Friday game of the year. We don't have any Thursday games this year, but we have several Friday games. And we got Pitt against Narduzzi, another guy that Franklin does not like and we don't like. We are not Narduzzi fans, not one bit. Never have been. Pitt's an old school rivalry. They still beat us. They were a top upper tier team in the ACC last year, so it'll be interesting to see what they bring with them this time. It would be a great win at home on a Friday night to really the first time like the eyes are really on Blacksburg on television. It'll probably be an ACC network game. Uh, just send a message, man. Beat Pitt, beat Narduzzi. Uh, that's how we got to roll. And then it gets a little tough because you play Pitt, who's usually tough, and then you have to go to Cal the next weekend. You have to fly to California, play Cal. We beat them at home last year. They have a new coach, still have the same quarterback. They lost their star linebackers, lost a couple pieces like Raphael, but I don't know. They might still be a good team. Either way, the timing of going there is going to be tough on the kids. So hopefully we can go to Cal, escape with a W. Then we come home for Georgia Tech. No idea what Georgia Tech's going to look like on October 17th. They lost a lot. Basically, their whole coaching staff. They lost their quarterback, their running back. They lost a bunch of pieces. But Brent Key is a good coach, and he's probably going to put a pretty good product on the field, I would think. So it's really just it's going to be interesting game. But to sandwich a trip to California in between home games with Pitt and Georgia Tech is not something to be overlooked in any way. That is a fact. And then the next week, big one at Clemson. I'm trying to go to this one. I don't really care about Howard's Rock. I don't know what Clemson's going to look like. They just got screwed over by that Cal linebacker. Dabo used the portal a little bit, but I don't know if he used it enough. Who's their quarterback? How good is he? We don't know. Look, it's going to be beating Clemson would be sweet, especially at Clemson. It would be a strong first year W for the Hokies, and it would symbolize that things are turning the tide. But even if they lose this game, I don't think it's really going to say. I guess it depends on how you lose it, but the team's young. I think there's way more expectation on 2027 than there is on 2026. So I don't think people will hold it against us too much if we lose that game. But I would love to go to Clemson and beat them because the next week is a much needed bye week. We will have been beaten up. Football's physical. People will be beat up. We will have injuries. We will need to heal because the next week we're going to Dallas, Texas, baby. All my exes live in Texas. Not really, but I do have friends down there, and from both college and Twitter and real life. And I've never been to Dallas, and I'm gonna stay locked in. So I'm going to Dallas. I'm gonna get me some Texas-sized barbecue. And I'm gonna indulge in all of the good things that Texas has to offer, and I'm gonna have a good time because I've never been. And SMU will be a strong opponent. They always are. They have money. Now they have a Power 4 patch on their jersey. The sky's the limit for them. They were the Pony Excess, the Pony Express. Like it's gonna be a tough away matchup, but I'm very much looking forward to going to that. And I'm hoping we're rewarded with a W because every destination trip I ever take for Virginia Tech, I usually end up with a big fat L, but I had a good time doing everything else. Then we come home Saturday, November 14th versus Stanford. No idea what they're going to look like. Andrew Luck at the helm of the leadership there. I don't even know who their coach is, so I'm not going to try to figure it out. But handle that. Beat Stanford. They're coming across to the East Coast in November. Going to be colder. Handle that, man, because the next week we're going to Miami for our final Friday game, November 20th at Miami. We ran the ball well on them last year with Jeff Overton as a freshman and Marcellus Hawkins. Our team is better on paper, at least, and talent wise going into this game. It would be nice to go to Miami and beat them for all the shit they're always talking, but you know, it'll be hard to tell. I'm not predicting wins and losses. I just know it'd be a great opportunity to send a message. And then we come home Saturday, November 28th, right after Thanksgiving for UVA, who beat us last year. They now have the Commonwealth Cup. It is imperative for James Franklin to put his stamp on his regime by beating UVA. You got to put your foot on their neck and you don't take it off. Like, you got to bring the cup back. It's an important move to stamp. You're like, this is the beginning of your tenure at Virginia Tech. You will be judged on this game. Like, we must, and he knows this, we must beat UVA. It will be a point of emphasis come game week. Like, there are enough people around, Brent Pry included, that will hammer this home. Like, people will know there's enough people left on this team too that remember losing that game last year. They know, handle business, bring the cup back home. We got to do this. Like, it is absolutely must do. It's mandatory. Beat UVA. Like, you can't, like, the season will be looked at differently if you lose that game. So you must beat them. And then December 5th, ACC championship. I'm just saying it because it's on the schedule. I'm not saying we're winning the ACC. I don't expect that. It would be great. It would be great to do that. But hey, if we get to go to Charlotte year one, your boy's not mad. I know that much. But that's the schedule. You have to let me know in the comments which games y'all are looking forward to going to. I myself, obviously the home games, I'm looking forward to going to Clemson. I'm looking forward to going to Dallas. That would be awesome. 2027, I think we have Notre Dame still on the schedule. I want to go to South Bend, touchdown Jesus. I've never been, so I want to go. I just want to, man. But yeah, man, thanks for joining me today on this solo ride through the schedule, through women's basketball. We hired Nick Perry. I did not talk about that. Worked with Devin Witherspoon in Seattle. Worked with Patrick Surtain the second, Trayvon Diggs, Minka Fitzpatrick in Alabama. Played for Nick Saban, won 2 national championships. Coached with Nick Saban, won 2 national championships. So he knows what it looks like on both sides of the ball, on both ends of the coin, playing and coaching. I think it'll be a good get. He was at Arkansas last year. They weren't very good, but sins of the father. It's hard to come in a year and change something there. You need a little time as a coach. So I'm not going to hold that against him whatsoever. But yeah, man, let me know in the comments. I'm going to need y'all, especially since it's just me, to let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Do you want more solo ones? Because I'm going to do them. I like to talk. That's why I'm here. That's why I have a microphone. That's why I have a podcast. I just love to talk. And yeah. I saw some good movies during the snow, just to wrap it up. Nuremberg, I'm a big World War II guy. That was good. That was about basically, like pulling off the Nuremberg trials. Like, there was no precedent for it before. So there was a lot of pushback on if it could even be done. It was a good movie. Michael Shannon, Russell Crowe, Rami Malek. I also watched the Springsteen movie, which I wasn't a big Springsteen guy, but I wanted to watch the movie. I thought it would be, I've listened to a lot of his music since then. And I know the hits. Everybody knows the hits, but the boss is the boss, man. The boss got some jams, but I thought it would be like a wide sweeping view of his career, but it was really centralized around the making of the Nebraska album after the success of Born to Run, The Edge of Darkness, him fighting his depression, life regrets, love, all that. I thought it was pretty well done. You should check it out. That's not why we're here. But yes, spring game, April 18th. See you there. If more things pop up in the Hokieverse, I will be back. But I appreciate y'all, tuning in, tapping in with me today. And as always, go Hokies.